Hello, my name is Pat Allen, and I'm here today taking the interview of Armand Edward Poirier. And he's a World War II veteran, and he has agreed to be interviewed and videoed regarding his experiences. And this interview is being conducted at the Cincinnati State Community College campus in Middletown, Ohio. And it's being done under the auspices of the Cincinnati Hamilton County Library in Cincinnati, Ohio, for the Library of Congress. And that program is being run by
Probably have to
Brian Powers, and our cameraman today is Dave Gillen. First of all, let me thank you for coming here this morning.
It's quite all right.
And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
All right. So tell us what your full name is and when you were born.
Well, I was born in Skowhegan in 1924, December.
And what's your full name?
Armand Poirier.
And your middle
Armand
name?
Edward Poirier.
Right. And you were born in Skowhegan, Skowhegan,
Yeah,
Maine.
right.
In 1924. Now, what were your mother and father's names?
Well, my mother was, her maiden name was Johnson.
What was her first name?
Vitalin.
What was her first name?
Valentine, no, Vitalin.
Okay.
French, yeah.
Oh, Valentine.
Valentine, that's
right.
what I meant.
And how about your dad? What was his name?
Frank Poirier.
All right.
Francois.
So where were they from? Were they from Maine too, or Canada?
No, my mother was from New Brunswick. My father was from Maine.
All right.
Yeah.
What did your father do for a living?
He worked in textile, well, both the spinning mill and then in the woolen mills. He worked in a spin iron and stuff like that. Yeah.
Where did he do that? In Skowhegan?
In Skowhegan, yeah. Yeah, they had both a spinning mill and American Woolen Company.
All right.
Yeah.
And how about your mother? Did she work outside the home at all?
Yeah, she used to work nights a lot.
What did
so
she
my
do?
father would keep house when she was working.
What did she do? What kind of work?
Well, I guess she was on a nut gill box. Oh, I forget now.
Did she work in the mill also?
Yeah, she worked in the mill. I think in the spinning department. I think.
All right. How about brothers and sisters? Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yes, I do.
All right. Tell us about
12 of them.
You have 12 brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
So you're one of 13 children?
Yeah.
Wow. And how many of those, if any, are still living?
How much of a little? Well, let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 girls and 1 boy left. There's 7 of us, 8 of us.
Do you remember their names?
Yeah.
Start telling me their names.
Okay, well, let's see. My oldest one is Irene, and Irene DeVoe.
And how old is Irene?
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's a year after me. She's 92, gonna be 93 right off.
All right. Who's the next one?
And Leatrice is 90 already. Leatrice Poulin.
How do you spell her first name?
Leatrice.
Okay. And she's going to be 90?
She's, yeah, her birthday, she's coming, June, I think, she's 90, yeah.
All right. Who's the next one?
Clara.
How old's Clara?
Clara, what's Clara's last name? Withy.
Withy?
Withy, yeah.
All right.
I don't know how to spell it. So.
How old is she?
She's 90. She's not quite 90 yet.
All right.
Yeah, I think in August sometimes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And who's the next one?
Teresa, and that's Teresa Tracy.
Teresa Tracy.
Yeah, and married to husband. What's Tracy's?
Clifford? Clifford?
I didn't hear you.
Clifford?
Clifford.
No, Clifford's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who Teresa
we ain't. No, not Clifford. Teresa's husband.
Oh, I don't know.
Now you brought with you one of your grandchildren,
Yeah.
and he and I worked together, and he's talked you into giving this interview. So if you feel free to ask him things that you can't remember. So
Oh, okay.
so we've got Teresa. Who's the next one?
Okay. That was Teresa.
Yes.
Okay. The next one was Esther.
Esther.
Esther. Yes. Esther
Esther Tracy.
Tracy. Yeah.
She
No.
was married to Clifford.
What?
Esther was married to Clifford.
Yeah. What? What was the last name?
Tracy?
Yeah. Okay. Esther
Esther
Tracy.
Tracy.
Yeah.
And then is that all the girls? And you have a brother?
I have one brother,
What's-
Joseph. Yeah.
Joseph.
Yeah.
How old's Joseph? Older or younger than you?
Oh, he's way younger than
He's the
me.
youngest.
I'm the oldest.
So he's
by
the
way,
he's the youngest of all.
No, Esther's the youngest of all. Teresa
He was giving you the ones that lived.
and Joe's next. The third one.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. How long did you were born in Skowhegan? How long did you live there? Did you live there all your life?
I lived there all my life at that time. Yes.
Did you go to grade school in Skowhegan?
I went to grade school, and I also went to a machinist trade school. That was a government-run NYA.
All right. So did you graduate from grade school? You finished 8th grade?
No, I didn't graduate.
Okay.
I went to. I was going to convent. I went from the convent to the public schools, junior high. I got my diploma after I got in the service.
All right.
I got it through the service.
So
But I went to machinist trade school.
where was
that? That was in Dexter, Maine.
All right.
That was run by the government.
What did you learn to do at the machinist trade school?
I operated all the machines in the machine shop and had blueprints and class for that and all different things
All right.
in the machinist trade.
Did you finish that school before you entered the service?
Yeah, yes I did.
Did you work while you were going to the machinist school?
I worked in the spinning mill the last job before I went in the service.
Were you still
That was in Maine Textile.
Maine Textiles?
Yeah.
Were you doing that while you were still in machinist school, or was that after you finished
Well, I got out of machinist school just before I went in the service. I got out of 51, I think. No, but trying to think.
Well, let's try this. When did you enter the military? Did you enlist or were you drafted?
I enlisted, but they had to jump me up. They were going to draft me anyway, so I went through that, and I enlisted in
And
February 1942.
right, that's what
Oh,
you've
yeah,
got on your
right.
paper, February 1942. And where did you go to enlist? Right there in Skowhegan?
No, I had to go to Dexter. Dexter, Maine had the school.
All right.
They had the NYA trade school.
What military branch did you enlist in?
Well, I took what they put me in. That's all.
What did they put
I
you in?
ended up, yeah, they ended up putting me in the machine and medical school.
You're in the medics.
Yeah, I went and took basic training in Camp Pickett, Virginia.
Where were you a medic in the Army, Marines, Navy?
Army.
So you went to Virginia for
Basic training.
basic training.
Yeah.
Where did you go in Virginia?
Camp Pickett and Blackstone, Virginia.
All right. Now, before you went to boot camp, did you know anything about medic?
No.
Anybody in the
Not
family
really.
ever related to any medicine?
No. I guess I was pretty much like the rest of them.
So you go to Camp Pickett. How long were you in training at Camp
A
Pickett?
little over 3 months, I think. We took basic, and then we transferred to Lawson General Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia.
Lawson,
Lawson.
Lawson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's gone now. That building that was where we studied,
All right.
that's gone. We took a lot of lessons in there for the
For
medic.
All right.
Yeah, we went there and
Where did you go from Lawson?
Lawson. We went for training in Atlanta,
All right.
and that was at Lawson Emory University. We got some training there, and let's see, Atlanta Hospital. We worked there.
All right.
We had the colored and the white side in Lawson, and we did a little of everything in the medical field there. We had ambulance. We had a couple of ambulance nights and the ambulance and stuff like that.
Now,
And we had the operating room and in the hospital in the main part, sometimes in the white and sometimes in the color section.
All right. And that was a civilian hospital,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
that
Lawson.
was Lawson General.
All right. So about how long were you at Lawson General?
We just went there for classes, that's all. We went right from our barracks. We'd go right into and take a course or whatever we was doing, was taking training and go to an operation somewhere. Sometimes we assisted operations and different things like that.
What was your next duty station after Lawson?
Overseas to
In Europe?
over to Europe, and
Well, let me take you. Where did you leave from on your way to Europe? Did you leave?
okay, we left from where did Joe live?
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod.
Left from Cape Cod?
We left from Cape Cod on boat. We got on the boat in Cape Cod and transferred out.
Where did you land? Scotland or England or Ireland?
Yeah, Scotland.
Scotland?
Yeah.
And how many days were you on the ship?
I think it was around 15 days, something like that, on the
Okay.
way over.
All right. And when you landed in Scotland, then
Glasgow.
Glasgow, Scotland. Then where did you go from Glasgow?
Well, we went to private billets. We went and lived with a couple, me and another guy, and I can't remember their names now. I used to write to them, but I can't remember the names anymore. I think this was at the,
Were you still in Scotland? Were you still in Scotland then?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in, geez, now I'm starting to forget now.
We think the ship that brought him over was the SS Argentina.
SS Argentina. Do you remember coming over on that ship?
Oh yeah, we went over and coming over and back on it, I think.
Same ship?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
How was that trip? Was that a nice trip?
A little hairy here and there, you know.
Was it harried because of German submarines?
Yes, we was on the outside edge of the
Convoy?
the convoy, yeah.
And
and,
did
we-
you have any emergencies?
We had a couple of blackouts on the way over. Yeah.
And when you talk about a blackout, does that mean
Yeah,
all the lights in the ship
All
are
the
out?
lights are, yeah. And
You never did see any German submarines, did you?
no,
Good,
not there anyway.
good.
Uh,
So there were not any attacks on that
no,
convoy?
not on that trip over. I think we got lights out a couple times. So that was it. On the way over, and then we worked in the medical part of the ship because we had to give all the boys the shots that they can get stateside,
Right,
and we had to take care of that detail.
sure.
Yeah, so they put us on giving shots and stuff.
All right, then where do you go from Scotland? Do you go to England or do you go over on the mainland?
Yeah, we went down the coast to Portsmouth, and we got on a hospital ship there. We was on 10 days out on the hospital ship before the invasion on June 6th. We was on the ship waiting to go in.
Well, how about submarine threats during that 10 days?
No, we was in Portsmouth Harbor. We had to go around the bend when we transferred for
For D-Day?
D-Day. Yeah.
All right, so where were you, what ship were you on at that time?
No,
Remember?
and that's where we hospital ship.
Yeah, what
Oh,
was
I
it?
can't remember the name of that one.
So where was your hospital ship when they actually began the invasion?
Where was our ship then?
Yes.
Well, we was on board ship, and somewhere around Portsmouth, and then we went over to get the LSDs to go into the invasion. And we was there the night before,
All right.
the 5th, and we boarded the LSDs that morning just to go to Utah. We went on a Utah beach.
So
That's
you
where we landed.
so you go from the hospital ship down into a smaller LST that's going to take you and other troops over to the beach at Omaha?
No, we went to the beach with the LSDs. We had to get off the hospital ship.
Right.
Yeah, there were. This was all hearsay, but I think they said something like we lost 2 of the hospital ships in mines.
Wow.
So ours was the only one that made it over. That's all hearsay.
Well, you said how did you get from the hospital ship to the beach?
LSDs,
LST.
yeah.
And
And we had to board them out in the water.
did you get on the beach on D-Day or after D-Day?
Oh, I got on the beach that morning, D-Day morning, and we left on the LSDs. It was still dark, so I'd say it was around probably 6 o'clock or so, something like that.
About how many fellas were on the LST with
Oh,
you?
geez, I don't know. They just piled on all over the hole,
All right.
and I can't tell you how many. Probably, I would almost say about 50 anyway.
All right.
Yeah,
While you're going towards the beach, were you getting shelled by the Germans and fired at in your LST?
We didn't get any to ours anyway, that I know of.
Did you see any other ones?
We went into the beach and they dropped the door and we jumped in the ocean. And that was it. They were shooting in some of it. I don't remember anybody getting hit there. On the LSD. I remember picking up a captain. He was a little short guy, so he was over his head, and I helped him above the water so he could get in.
So when he got out of the LST, he was so short.
No, he went down, so I grabbed him on his back and helped him to get up on dry land, so to speak.
Well, how far out from the actual dry land did your LST drop its door?
Jeez.
50 yards, 100 yards, or?
Let's say 100 yards.
100 yards?
A little better, yeah.
Now, as you're approaching the beach in your LST, did the Germans have barricades out there in the water?
We didn't have any there where we was, because down below Utah, we was on Utah, and
now, were you on Utah or Omaha?
Omaha was down below us.
Okay.
We was on Utah. We went in on Utah Beach.
All right.
And
so once you got on shore on dry land, then what all did you do that morning?
We went to work. We went right off.
Tell me some of the things
we had teams, 5-man teams, and had three officers and 2 enlisted men.
All right.
And the enlisted men were both. I think I was T4. I think he was one above me. The other guy said T5, but no T. I think he was. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was the same as I was.
And what rank were you?
T4.
T4. Now, what does that mean?
Equivalent to buck sergeant.
All right.
1 rank above it.
All right. So what were you doing? Were you under fire on the beach?
Oh yeah, we went to work right off. We set up a operating table right out on the beach and took shelter. There was some shelter that they had already set up a tent.
All right.
So we just bring a couple of horses and the litter. Put the litter went right on the horses and we went to work on them right off.
What kind of wounds were you treating?
Well,
yourself. What kind of wounds were you treating?
Well, by that time I wasn't treating any separate. I was assisting the doctors.
Okay.
I mean, they were taking everything from the neck down on our team. So we went right to work on whatever was there, that needed it.
How did you get your medical equipment from the LST over to the shore?
The only equipment we had was what we had on our backs. They had some medical there, but not much. I mean, they had some. I think there was 2 or 3 gowns. We got to change twice, I think.
All right.
And after that, we was going over and over same gowns.
Did any of your team members take any fire and get injured?
Not that I know of. The captain that I picked up out of the ocean helped him to shore. That's all the excitement we had there for that point. And so we just went right to work. And I remember that I went right to work with a major he had been in the he was an old-timer, and he was a fast surgeon, really fast. And I assisted the first operation with him. Most of the guys were afraid to afraid to jump in working with him because he was so fast, and they wasn't sure of themselves, and
All right.
so they were skeptical. But I had already had some training stateside that the rest of them hadn't had, because I took home four guy paratroopers that are paralyzed from the neck down in stateside. That's before we went overseas. So I had a little training in that respect, and I got to take 4 patients home, and one was in Dwight, Illinois, and one Montgomery, and Memphis, and
Vermont.
I'm trying to think the other one now.
Vermont?
Yeah, Vermont. Right. Yeah,
And
White River Junction. Yeah.
Did you drive them? Did you drive these paralyzed fellows there?
No, we didn't drive. We took a train. We had to take them off the train to go to Governor's Island, and overnight. And the next day we put them back on the train and took them up to Vermont, White River Junction. And from there we got a 3-day leave. And that was it. So I took them up up to hospital in White River Junction. Yeah.
Right. White River Junction. That's right on the border of Vermont and New Hampshire, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in that vicinity. We didn't hang around there very long.
Now, these 4 paratroopers, had they been paralyzed over in Europe in the battle?
Quite a while. They were all ex-parachuters, and they just couldn't do anything for themselves. So we took care of them stateside, brought them home.
All right.
That was about it. We had to tend to them the best we could.
Okay, well let's go back to the beach.
Okay.
Now, how many days or hours were you on the beach tending to the wounded?
I don't know. It seemed like our first stay was about 4 days. I remember we shot down Bedchick Charlie. Shot him down.
Who was Bedchick Charlie?
Oh, German. We nicknamed him Bedchick because he'd coming around at night trying to get us with his plane, trying to get a munition down.
Was he strafing or bombing?
Yeah, he was strafing. Oh yeah, they're going under us and around us, but
who shot him down?
It was anti-aircraft.
From a boat or from shore?
From the shore.
From shore?
Yeah, I can't remember who shot him down, but his plane, the nose of his plane landed about from here across the street from us by the time it got done. We were in foxholes at that time.
Okay.
And those are the only foxholes we got on that trip because they were already dug. We didn't have any equipment to dig foxholes.
Right.
They didn't expect us to do any digging.
The soldiers ahead of you had dug the foxholes.
Yeah.
All right, now, so then after 2 or 3 days or 4 days, you got off the beach and went inland, did you?
Yeah, we got off the beach to a point there, yeah. We went right towards St. Mary de Glees, is where we was heading. And then one of the details that fell in my laps, I was kind of an interpreter because I was French and I could speak it. At that time, I could speak it pretty good. But I got a detail. The major, the doctor, he asked me to go see this little girl. I'd say she's probably around 13 or 14 years old. She went home to go in her house, and the door was mined.
Booby trap?
Booby trap. So she was on her way out, but they asked me to go spend some time with her and pass the time with her.
All right.
for that afternoon. She went that night, but by that time I was back on duty then.
So what kind of injuries did she have? Her face, her body, her head, or
She was a cute little girl. I'm guessing about 12, 13 years old, somewhere around there.
but that the device that had exploded on her when she was opening the door,
Yeah.
there was just no way to save her.
No way. No, everything blew up in the face. It didn't show when I was talking with her, but she was covered up pretty well
Okay.
in the bunk. But she seemed to be in a jolly type mood, you know.
Was she happy that you could talk French to her?
I assume she was. I called her my guardian angel after that
Okay.
because we had a lot of close calls, one right after the other.
Okay.
But,
So, did that event happen in St. Mary Glace, where that girl got?
yeah, she was in that vicinity. I don't know exactly where she was from. We didn't stop there. We went up on I think we went up on the railroad tracks. They had a big train, long time gunmen on trains, and that when we had one of them for days, they were shooting that over our head. So we got tired of that pretty quick.
Well, tell me about some of the close calls you had.
What clothes we had?
Close calls.
Oh.
You said you had a lot of close calls.
Oh, well, that Big Chuck Charlie was one of them. Was the plane got hit just before it come to. He was trying to get a musician.
Munitions.
Yeah. He was trying to get the gun storage that they had. They had,
Right.
piled it up on the beach as quick as it could take them away from the Germans and stuff like that. They made a pile wherever they could, and that sometimes that led to a couple of fatalities, and then I remember two little fellas were going by one of the banks, one of the dumps, munition dumps, and they either hit something or decided to play with the guns, and it killed them both. We didn't have a chance to get the medical equipment to them, and we couldn't put any blood in. I'm getting ahead of myself now. This is a different story.
Well, is this why you're still on the beach though?
Not actually.
Okay.
No, that
All
was a different place.
Well, let me ask you, while you're on the beach, can you see any of these German guns on the beach while you're there?
No, but we saw some on the railroad tracks just next to where we were going. We were trying to get to St. Mary Glace at that time, and then there was a paratrooper outfit. I can't remember. It was 101, I think, and they were trying to get established.
All right.
So.
Did you have to treat any of their wounded?
Oh yeah, we worked on some of that guys. Yeah. That was basically what we was getting theirs and ours.
So were you treating some of the Germans?
Yeah, we treated some of them too. In fact, I think we treated the one off Big Chuck Charlie he was pretty well stove up. He didn't have much of a chance. We had a couple of guys blowed half in two, and they didn't have a chance. I remember one guy, one of our first operations, and he took 29 pints of blood, but he didn't have a chance even with that. But he just wanted to live so bad. He had a family man. I think he had 4 or 5 kids of his own, but he wanted to get through it, and he couldn't make it. There's no way in hell. We worked on it, but
Where was that? Was that on the beach, or was that on the way?
Yeah, well, it was on the way.
On the way to St. Mary Glaze?
Yeah, it was away from the beach. A little bit. We didn't have very much territory at that point. And we could see what was going on in the other beach down below us. That one was getting pounded, really pounded.
And that was Omaha Beach.
Yeah, Omaha. Utah had it quiet compared to them, but we had enough to keep us busy.
Which beach was it that had Pointe du Hoc? Pointe du Hoc? Which beach was that?
Pointe du Lac?
Pointe du Hoc. Right there on the beach. I don't remember which beach that
I
was.
can't remember that one either.
All right. Well, go ahead and tell me you're on your way to St. Mary Glaze, and what else?
Oh, wow, we ain't moving that fast yet. But I think we was a little over 3 days before we got off the beach too far. And then we got out, they brought them in from the water. They had these amphibious, I call them half tracks or tracks. They were high, and they were taking them out to the boat, then taking some of the casualties directly to the boat.
All right.
Yeah. But those that couldn't make it, they dropped them off. We took care of them on the beach.
Well, was there any number given to your unit? Was it Unit 407 or Unit B, or what? How would they describe your medic unit?
Our medical team, I guess we were like God to them. I guess most of them. But like I said, we was on a team strictly operating. That's all we did. So we was in the tent most of the time, and we didn't see the outside hardly any.
All right.
Just a couple of times they had gas releasing the tanks going back from the bomb runs, and they were releasing the spare tanks and stuff like that in the Atlantic, and that wasn't. They'd holler gas or something like that, and we thought it was the real thing because we still had gas masks. So, but we found out just a false alarm. So,
all right,
we stopped scampering for a gas mask.
How did, when you made your way inland a little ways after 3 days, how did you get your wounded fellas back to the beach so they could get to the ship? By jeep or truck or?
They had those big transport trucks that would go amphibious.
All right.
You know, they could take them out. I'd say maybe 8 or 10 of the patients at a time or something like that.
Right.
But I don't know what else. I never seen them in action, actually.
Okay.
Actually, I knew they were there because the only action is they come to the hospital and pick them up. Go.
Well, how far inland did your group get? After you got off the beach, how far?
Oh, well, we ended up going all the way through. I was in the five major battles. We went from one to the other. We was avalanches, and we had a battle there. That was another one. And
what was that one? Avalanches?
Yeah, avalanches was one of the main battles in there. And then that was on the lower part of the peninsula, and well, where the army was right down there. That's about the time that Patton came in, I think. And that's when we got bruised up a little bit there. They did a lot of bombing on us, stuff like that.
The Germans.
Yeah.
Do you know what kind of,
yeah.
were those bomber planes or were those dive bombers that were?
Most of them were bombers, period. That's all, I guess. And then that was mostly at night, because I remember I was supposed to be on guard duty with all I had was a club, no gun, no nothing, and it was out in the field on guard duty. But we were just transferred to that outfit that day, and so I think they were just pushing us a little bit because they didn't want the duty themselves. And I think that was the 16th Field Hospital that we joined up with on that deal. I guess they didn't like us too well. Anyway, they put up with us.
So
and
you're out
the
there.
next day we went bitching to the CO, and he called a meeting right off quick and told them to leave us alone. We were surgical technicians, and that's all we were going to do. We weren't going to do anything else. So they never bothered us again.
They didn't want you out there fighting the Germans with a scalpel and a stethoscope, did they?
Yeah, that's about it. It was that night. The sky was lit up just like on fire.
Now, were you getting any artillery cover from the ships out in the ocean?
Yeah, they were firing in inland. Some of it. They tried getting amphibious tanks and stuff like that to them, and they get what help they could. But like I said, I wasn't down that end of it too long.
All right.
I was undercover.
So you got the landing, and you got the second battle. What was the third battle you were in?
Well, right there we was after St. Mary de Glees, and
so were you in a battle at St. Mary de Glees?
Yeah, that one there, and then what was the next one? The port. The port was inland a little further down the beach. I can't even remember the name of it now.
What kind of a battle?
Cherbourg.
Cherbourg?
Cherbourg, yeah.
What kind of a battle was that? Were the Germans attacking you?
Just like any other battle. They just kept shooting at us, and till we could get them to stop.
And
that was
at Cherbourg, you're still trying to get in.
Oh, we're trying to get some ground. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, trying to get as far as we could and kill as many as we could. And we just kept operating as it kept going, and sometimes we advanced a little bit. I mean, at night, we'd be called into some other hospitals. Like there was I don't know how many first aid hospitals there was for the guys to bring them in there, and then we'd sort them out, and we'd get what we wanted for patients, more or less. The worst wounded, we had to take them, no matter who they were or what they were, and that got to be kind of hard too when we had to take German prisoners in front of our own. So that was all part of the surgical technique doctors rule they had on that. Take the worst patients first. That was it.
Regardless of whether they're American or Germans.
It didn't make a bit of difference.
Now, did you have any British fighting with you at those points?
Well, the British were down further at that time. They were down the end of it.
Did you have?
We didn't see much of them. I didn't anyway.
Did you have any French fighting with you? Any resistance fighters?
Not close enough so I see in them.
All right.
Of course, we didn't see much in the tents either. I mean, we'd get out daylight, and at night we'd just keep right on going.
Besides consoling that young girl, did you use your French in any other way?
Not there, I didn't. Because there was a couple of French people that were shot in front of me. What I mean is in our area. So but they were dead. They tried to stop one, I remember, he was coming across the bridge and coming out of the boonies, and they hollered halt 3 times, I think. He kept right on coming. So finally they opened up and they hit him in the femoral artery, brought him right in. We was right there. We had to set the hospital up, and we had that all set up and working. And I don't know, we got 3 or 4 other patients that night, but that was the line anyway, right there.
So when this Frenchman's coming across the bridge, our own people shot him, or the Germans did?
They were shell shocked. Just they wouldn't stop for nothing. It was on bicycles, and this one I saw. That's the only one we operated. We couldn't do nothing for him. And by the time they got him in the hospital, he got hit right in the femoral artery. So not much chance for anything there.
Were you equipped well enough to do any amputations out in the field?
Well, we could have, but we didn't.
You didn't?
I mean, yeah, we assisted in them and took care of I took guys' leg off, more or less by accident, but all they had holding about that much skin holding on the leg, so I throw the leg away. I just cut it, the rest of it.
All right.
Get it out of the way.
And then
that was some of our duties, yeah.
Now, was that at an aid station or was that in a field hospital?
We were in the field hospital at that point.
So
we were supposed to. I was supposed to be in. How was that? It's a bigger hospital. 103, I think. It was above the field hospital, but we had one hospital there, and I was supposed to land there with them guys, but I didn't. Next day I was gone with another. We were gone somewhere else. I put it that way. We kept right on moving. Then when they got Patton in, then we really started moving. You know.
Where did you go from Cherbourg?
Yeah, we tried to get the Cherbourg Peninsula too. That was part of the deal on that point. That was they were trying to get a bridge set up there, I guess. I didn't get close to that. Like I said, just get to the field hospital and get going. That's it.
Where did you go from Cherbourg? Where was the next battle?
Avalanches.
You told us about that.
That's above Cherbourg. We went to Avalanches, and we went, and that was a battle right there. And we moved to Le Mans, France. I don't know if that was before or after, I can't remember now. But we wiped that army. That was the German 7th Army. We wiped them right out. And we had a stop there for a while. It took one guy's leg off. And we had over 1,000 German prisoners out of that were just wounded. And dead, we had, I'm going to say, probably could fill this room here, the length of it anyway, piled about 4 high, 5 high, something like that.
These are Germans or Americans?
German,
Germans?
yeah, they took a hell of a beating there. They wouldn't quit, so they wiped them out.
Well,
I got some pictures home, but I didn't bring them here. They're in Maine. You've seen those POWs I had?
so
We took a lot of POWs.
did any of the POWs that were injured, wounded, did they talk to you in English, any of them?
Oh, some of them could, yeah. Some of them could, yeah.
Did you talk to some of them in English?
Yeah, we talked to them.
What were their comments about?
I don't remember. I don't remember any of them saying anything to me. That guy, we took his leg off. That was at noontime. We just had chow, and the doctors had to make up our mind what they were going to do, take it off or not. And our doctor was talking to a German doctor, I guess. I assumed he was a German officer. And they decided where they were going to take the knee off. They decided that the wound was down here, but blood poisoning was right there with it, and it was creeping up. So they decided finally to take it off here, make sure they got it all.
Just above the knee?
Yeah. Yeah, right about in there.
Did the German soldier have any input into that decision?
No, he had a German officer right there. He probably would have said to shoot him.
How about the POWs? What kind of age?
We didn't have any cages in.
No, age.
Oh.
Were these young Germans or middle-aged Germans or what?
Oh, Christ, there was all ages. The 7th Army, they were all mixed. There were some older guys, young guys. I don't know, I'd say quite a variety anyway, but the whole of them were wiped completely out, except for the casualties that we had. We had over 1,000 casualties right there that we're going to have to fix up. So we only fixed that one guy up. I don't know who treated the rest.
So would they be sent out to hospital ships when they were treated?
No, I don't know what they did with them to get rid of them so fast, but I think they might have had some places where they kept them, but we didn't see that.
All right.
I didn't anyway. Well, I'll put it that way. But we was just where the severely wounded were, and once they were fixed, we moved on to another field hospital if they had them. And whoever had them, we just serviced them. So.
How many days, weeks, or months were you over there in Europe?
Over there?
More than a year?
Oh, Jesus. I don't know. I never counted it that way.
Well, when did you get out of Europe yourself?
When I got out?
Of Europe.
Of Europe? I got out and went into Czechoslovakia at the end of the war. That was the last battle. I had been captured, but before that, and that was before we took the Czechoslovakia deal, because we moved up on that day. I remember that. So that's when we joined them. That's when I joined them. We went back, because before that I was with the prisoners. And
how did you come to be captured?
Huh?
How did you get captured?
Well, we crossed the Rhine River on the blackout that morning, Easter Sunday. I remember that part. And we got going again, and I think I caught up with the unit, and we the war was over on the way up Czechoslovakia. That's when the war ended.
All right.
Yeah, so I made it into Czechoslovakia. We had a banged up party. That night there was a brewery in Czechoslovakia. Needless to say, we enjoyed that.
But you told me you got captured briefly.
Yeah.
The Germans captured you?
Yeah.
How did you get captured?
Well, they shot a guy from here across the room here, Major. He was one of the doctors. I was in front of the convoy. I was driving the weapons carrier. And that day, I was hungover, so I didn't feel like it. And I boarded one of the trucks, and I let somebody else drive that day. But I wasn't too happy about it. And I was pretty miserable, I'll put it that way.
Well, how did the Germans capture you?
Well, they shot up the convoy to start with, to stop the whole convoy. We was with the 16th Field Hospital at that time, and they stopped the whole convoy. But they had stole a lot of our uniforms, and they were in our uniforms when they did it. I remember that because I had a feeling when the MPs sent us up this road, and I just had a feeling that things weren't quite right. You know, your gut feeling, that's all. And I knew that, I figured that they might be doing something like that, and they did. That's when we discovered it. If they got caught, they were dead.
Well, how many of you guys got captured by the Germans wearing our uniforms?
I assumed the whole platoon was captured, but I don't know. Like I said, I just saw the front of the platoon. And I had the mess truck. There was a Jeep, the mess truck, and there was my weapons carrier. And then the rest of the convoy. The guys in the trucks. I don't know if anybody else got it, how many got it, but the mess truck had a guy on top riding on the top of the load. And we're just getting that from the Magneto lines. This was Patton's first move to get in a hurry to rescue the paratroopers and stuff that were battling in the Bulge.
For the Bulge, okay.
So they were trying to get help on to them, and so we lost out there.
So this guy's on top of the truck, and what happened to him?
He had a chest wound. He got a chest wound. Take care of him.
So how did you get out of capture? How did you get released?
Well, we got released. They just put us in the woods and they took everything we had on us, and anything of any value. And then we was right there. And when we got the chance, we got away. Some of us did. Not all of us, but I don't know how many of the guys got away. In fact, I don't know how many of the guys was hit. I saw just the one hit, two hits. That's all I saw, but that was on the front of the convoy. And that was in a Jeep that was passing us. That's how close they were to us. There was 4th Armored.
Right.
And it was I think there's an article, if you can get it probably, and Easter Sunday is the day we get captured, and they had an article in there about an officer of the 4th Armored. He was caught in the major, got hit and killed. He died right there. And the officer had a piece in the Stars and Stripes, so you might pick that up on the Stars and Stripes, and see how many died in that deal. Because I don't really know. I know for a fact that there was two hit anyway that I know of, and I don't know how many in the rear end of the column. But we moved up from there. And when we moved up from there, we was on our way home to Czechoslovakia.
Well,
That's when we got Czechoslovakia.
What kind of uniform did you wear? If I was a German, would I be able to tell from your uniform that you were a corpsman or a medic?
Well, yes, and we always looked for the dog tags, and that's what they went by. If they saw a dog tag, that was out of place. You know, just happened to be something you saw, it would be dead right there if they got caught.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't, but.
Well, how close did you come to being involved in the battle at the Bulge?
Well, how close I came, I'll tell you, it was a toss of a coin. Because our team, they were making up a party to go up with the gliders to rescue them guys. And the team that went in our place, they wiped the whole team out. That I know. I don't know what happened to the rear of the column, because there's quite a few vehicles involved, and they probably covered the whole main street from here to the end.
Did you ever meet General Patton? Did you ever see him in person?
Oh, see, yeah. Yeah, we see him all the time because we was always pretty close with the 4th Armored. We was with the 16th Field Hospital.
What did the soldiers generally feel about him? How did they view him?
Well, that was a mixture there. I loved the guy, but not everybody did. I know that, but I thought the world of him. Even though he did slap a guy a couple times, but that was probably just being under the strain.
What did you like about him? What did you like about General Patton?
Well, I liked the fact that he was mistreated all the way. I mean, the people just forgot all about him right off quick. And they don't even think about him now. And after he got killed, that was another put-up job.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, some of these officers didn't want him in there. I mean, high-ranking officers like Eisenhower and some of them guys, and they was playing politics. A lot of that went on.
So you think there's some suspicion about the accident that he was in?
Yeah. I didn't think they did a very good job on investigating that, but that was just my opinion.
So,
and I think he got mistreated pretty bad.
So besides being in France, were you in Germany or were you in Belgium?
Oh yeah, I made a way through most of them. I was in Belgium quite a while. We stopped. See, when did we go? Well, that was right after the Battle of the Bulge. We stopped in a town in Belgium, and oh yeah, we had a hospital in there. We had to go to work again because we had a self-inflicted wound hospital, and we had to go in there and work on some of them guys, fingers blown and legs shot and foot. Stuff like that. They was all suspected of being self-inflicted.
Just to get out of the battle.
Yeah, and then in the Army, you were guilty till you were proven innocent. So there's a lot of them guys probably got Sing Sing and all the other
how
committed.
long were you there at the hospital in Belgium?
Belgium, we had that SIW. We was only there about a week. They took care of the wounded they had.
You remember where you went after that?
I went back to the little town we was in, I think, Doodlinger.
Is that in France?
We called it, yeah, in Belgium.
Oh, in Belgium?
Doodlinger, we called it, but it had a different name than that. And let's see, where did we go from there? Well, that's when we started. We cleared up. That's when we started pushing. That's when we went around trying to get the bridges out before they got out. And we got one across the Rhine. That's where we got captured. And that was on Easter Sunday. So there wasn't too much in between that I can recall. That was a hell of a drive over there to get to rescue them. We got the call that night to load up, and we jumped in the vehicles and all headed out. And I think I remember that ride there too. I had brakes that wasn't worth a damn on my weapons carrier, so they ended up hooking me up on the mess truck right in front of me, and it got towed. And you want to try something like that on night, you were right in the back of that truck and just. And I went the whole distance. I went all the way from where we was almost into Germany then, that way back, about the Magneto line. That's just about where we was, and I think just prior to that, we had an operation. The guy, I remember this because of the amount of blood he used, but we had to perform a
transfusion or amputation?
Yeah, right. What's that?
The kidney? His kidney? Something wrong with his kidney or what?
No, it wasn't a kidney. It's what the hell am I trying to think of? What's that main one? That bleeds you bleed to death in no time. Anyway, he took 29 pints of blood.
Oh, that's the fellow that you couldn't save.
No, we saved him.
Oh, you saved this guy?
Yeah, we removed. Oh no, this was a splenectomy.
Okay.
We did that. We had gone to a movie. This was at night. Now we was down on the Magneto line, and they had a movie that night, so we went to a movie. And this guy was walking up the street because no lights, blackout, everything. So he's walking up the street, and this semi just barely touched him, but it started bleeding, and they brought him up to hospital. I was probably a block from the hospital where they brought him in here to the hospital. So we wasn't too long before we found out what ailed him. We had to get to work on him. And I remember that we put 29 pints of blood in that guy. And there was one other time in Normandy we did that to a guy, but he was blowed half in two. He didn't have a Chinaman chance in hell. So.
Well, where were you getting all this blood for the transfusions?
Transfusions.
Where were you getting it from?
Some of them were guys like me who would transfuse. I could donate to anybody.
Okay.
So I did it quite a few times. Wasn't supposed to do it every 3 months. It was a maximum. But we did them when we needed to, and nobody else around to get them.
But a lot of them,
we carried quite a bit of it.
But when you needed it, some of the enlisted men would give their blood to you.
Some of them, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, no, we helped each other.
Well,
at some point, he recalls going to a concentration camp. I don't know where that was.
And that was the end of the war up in Czechoslovakia. That was it. We had one other case after that. A girl, somebody had either raped her and shot her. So we had to go down and retrieve bullet so that it could prove the case.
Was it one of our guys or?
One of our guys, I guess. I don't know who they were holding, but I know that she was a girl about 16 years old, somewhere around there, we figured. And the bullet went down through her head from this way, lodged in the breast, in the left breast. So we had to close her back up and go in and take another x-ray to see where the bullet was.
Uh-huh.
And then we took it out and then went back to barracks.
Well, did she live?
No, so she was dead. We had practically put an autopsy on her. I stitched her back up, so it was a good job.
Well, your grandson said that you got into one of the concentration camps.
We got to relieve quite a few of them. We relieved Dachau. I can't remember all the names, and the one in
Sobibor, do you remember that? Sobibor, did you go into there?
I don't remember that one.
Okay. So tell me about Dachau. When you got to Dachau, what did you see?
Dachau?
Yeah. What did you see?
The
concentration camp.
Concentration camp. I seen everything there was to see there.
Tell me a little bit about that.
I got some of those pictures home. I got some of that home.
Were there still prisoners in there?
Oh yeah. They were trying to get rid of them as quick as they could, but they had run out of patience, I guess.
They run out of ammunition, or
No, they had plenty of ammunition because there was gas in them.
You guys were getting too close to them?
Oh yeah, we got right in the camp, and they were burying them as quick as they could, so we wouldn't be able to get to them.
Right, but the Germans were killing as many as they could before you could get there.
Right. They put them right in the gas chamber and filled the room and opened a couple of valves, and that was it. They were gone. They'd pile them out, another stitch of clothes on them, pile them up with a blanket or something that they had, and they lay them in and wait and bulldoze them in the big hole.
Were you able to treat any of those sick prisoners, or did you even try?
No, we never had a chance to. They'd come in on a train, and unloaded the train right there into the gas chamber.
No, I mean you. When you guys got to Dachau, some of the prisoners were still living, were they, or were they all dead?
Most of them in there were dead, but I don't remember us ever. I don't think we ever worked on any there.
Did you work on any concentration camps where the prisoners were still alive?
No, not that I remember anyway.
Okay.
No, Dachau and Auschwitz, all of them camps. A lot of them were being used pretty heavily. They put pilots in the bombers. They wasn't taking it easy on them. They didn't like them at all. So they were beating the hell out of them.
Were you in any of the prisoner of war camps where our airmen or soldiers were in there?
No, I wasn't. I got away from them before that. I was just lucky.
Well, when you did go into a concentration camp, can you tell me what they smelled like?
I can't really. I don't remember the smell of them. The gas maybe did them in too quick.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't. I don't remember any smell there, but I know there must have been some, because they were burning a lot of them too. But Auschwitz, as I recall, they were gassing them as quick as they could. Yeah.
Well, you've got a hat here. Why don't you tell us what some of these ribbons and
Well,
things are for? Let's hold it up here.
this
so
one here is Presidential Citation. It's with an oak leaf cluster.
And what was that
That's
for?
repeating. You got it twice.
Why did you get that? Why did you get that?
Oh, just being there, I guess, fighting with the rest of the guys.
Okay.
That was a unit citation. These all were unit citations. I got that one 5 times. That was
Well, what is this?
that was in Europe.
What's the
this
little
is-
star on there for? Why's it got a little star?
The silver star indicates five battles, 5 major battles. They repeated it.
So what are these ribbons for?
Oh, so those were all nations represented, but I can't name. That's a good conduct, and I can't remember what nation. This was in England, Europe, and the European. And some of these were Africa and different ones. I can't remember what they are.
Were you ever in Africa?
Huh?
Were you in Africa?
No, I
Okay.
never was.
What was this one for?
That's a medic emblem.
Okay.
The first aid. All we had was a card, first aid card, in our pocket. We didn't have a gun, and we didn't have a shovel, nothing to work with, but our teeth with our hands and the doctors.
But they did give you a club when you were doing guard duty. They gave you a club.
Yeah.
Now,
That's-
what's this?
That's presidential citation.
This Oakley cluster is on this one, but it's not on this one.
Oh, so okay. That's probably the first one I got.
All right. And what are these? Have anything to do
Nah,
with your being?
this is just junk I picked up on and put on. Somebody gave me them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now, any of these? Any
same
of these
thing-
have to do with
same
your
thing,
service?
Yeah, that's just
You just-
impress the Legion of the VF. What happens?
How about these?
Yeah, these are
How
small.
about these ribbons?
That's the 4th Armored. That's the 1st Army. And this was the 3rd Army, I think. I don't know what this stuff is.
Now the 4th Army,
Yes,
is
yeah.
that with Patton?
That's Patton's. I got a flag picture home. You seen it, all the flags on the big picture. They got them in magazines. I got that a long time ago, and I got one. Oh, I got one here for the post office. They tried to give it to me when his mother was working in a post office at the time, and he was going to present it to me, but for some reason or other I went the day before. They're going to do it again. But
You were a day early and $1 short, huh?
Yeah, I was supposed to be getting it, but I got it. It's hanging on the wall.
Now this one has French words on the bottom of it. Villa something. Did one of the French towns give you a medal?
No, not offhand. I can't make it out.
Let me see.
Too small for me. My eyes ain't that good. Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I got
Rich book two?
huh?
Rich book two?
Rich Bucktu? Do you remember that? A village?
Rich
Bucktu?
Rock. Oh, that's Canada.
Oh, that's Canada?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
We visited there.
Canadian.
Okay.
Rich Recto, yeah, that's French.
Now,
It's Canadian.
were you engaged in any of the British or the Canadians or Australians when you
Oh,
were?
we've seen them, yeah, we've seen them, but We weren't too friendly with them. I wasn't anyway.
All right.
We didn't care for them.
No, why not?
I don't know, just because they
Thanks,
were
Mike.
Well, for one thing, one of them got the gas rations, and right after that, I think that caused that. They bombed this one outfit in the 4th Armored. I think it was the 4th. They bombed them right at the edge of the Oregon forest, and they bombed them, and it was all politics, because they wouldn't release the gas for the trucks and stuff, so we could move the
So
car.
you couldn't move forward.
So we couldn't move forward. We had them in the woods. Had them in the woods, and inside of 2 passes, there were 2 planes, and 2 passes, and they got 90 casualties in less than 5 minutes. They made a pass and circled around and hit them again. And that was in the old memory's gone.
Was it France?
Yeah,
That was in
it
France.
was in France, yeah.
Before the
Yeah.
Oregon Forest.
It was just before the salt mines, I guess. One place there.
What were the salt mines? What were you involved in? Some
Yeah.
fight in the salt mines?
No, it's just that it was there.
A
that's all.
location.
Yeah.
Well, here's a ribbon, and you've got
Yeah,
some stars on there. What's
yeah,
that
that's
from?
stars instead of the silver one. It should be silver.
So what
Didn't have any more.
is that one of your ribbons?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was that for?
Oh, that was 3 different ones, and this one, and five different medals there. I can't tell you what they're all for either. All I know is that was Patton, the 4th Armored.
So did you ever get wounded? Did you ever get wounded?
No, I was lucky.
What would you say?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, well, I guess you could say I was wounded. I hit a landmine. Yeah, this other guy hit the landmine, but from here to the hit a guy sitting there.
Well, that's about 15 feet.
Yeah, and that's how close I was to a landmine, and I think it blew right over. Yeah, it went right over this here, and it blew the wheel off the front end of that weapons carrier, and it blew that off. It sent both of them guys home. He had another passenger with him, so they got the ticket home right there. That's how quick, and that's how close I was to hitting. I backed out of there with a water trailer on back of me. I backed out of that field and just left my tracks, and I was right next to the weapons carrier, not the weapons carrier, the half track. But when they blew that wheel off, and so I come back, I didn't come back. I was right there. I backed that truck up. I forgot to use my brains and stay put, but I backed it out. Never heard a thing. Next day, they sent another half track to retrieve the first one that was hit, and he wasn't 2 feet from where I would have hit if I hadn't gone backwards. If I'd have gone forward, I would have been out.
Wow.
And my weapons carrier wasn't very big compared to the half track.
Well,
That wheel went flying like right over our heads there.
but fortunately, it didn't kill any of the 3 occupants.
Well, them 2 guys in there, they sent them right home. I don't remember what the hell they had with them. I don't know what caused it. I I was busy concentrating on getting my ass out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did. Thank God.
Did they have mines on a lot? Were you on a road or were you out in the field?
Oh, they buried them anywhere. They'd cover them, camouflage them. Oh, yeah, any way they could put them down, they did it.
Well, in this instance, you just told me about.
This was in the field.
It was in a field, not on a road.
No, the road was right out there. Another, from where that hit that mine, he was, I'm going to say 80
Meters?
no, yeah,
80 meters?
probably about 80 meters from the road.
So is that the...
The road also had indication. I don't know how it come. He chose that way to go, and I followed him. That's what I did. And that road, let's see. I don't know how many more landmines there was in that field. But there's a school there that we was taking over. We took over the school and made a hospital out of it. And I was just parking the water trailer for the kitchen, for the mess hall. And I backed it all the way out to the Tide Road, and I got it the hell out of there. By the way, that Patton was there that day. He was making his headquarters there. So it's how close we were together.
But when you're going through this field and the half track runs over this mine, was there something suspicious about the road that he didn't drive?
Oh, every indication was right there. I read it to myself right off quick and then decided this is a minefield.
Yeah.
I decided that, but the guys in the half track, they didn't. And I thought that, that they should have been smart enough to see the sign, because you had the trees on the Tide Road. They had a couple of trees, and they were all notched, ready to fall down. All they had to do was touch them off.
Okay.
And they would have blocked the road, so they would have to go
through
around the
field.
field.
Yeah.
So I saw that. I knew I was going into a field. But I said, it's dangerous, too dangerous. And it proved it. But I backed out of there because I figured I was in my tracks, that I made it going in, and I was my head out the windshield and then like this, back out of there.
Well, then did you go on up the road?
No, I didn't. I stopped and went right back.
Okay.
Because they was setting the hospital up.
Okay.
Right on that school. There was a school there. So I don't know when they took the mines out. They blew up that one, and they blew up the other one the next day. So that was two of them. I don't know how many more there was in there.
So the next one they blew up could have been you.
That would have been me.
Is that the closest you came to
That's
being?
it, as far as I know.
Uh-huh.
As far as I know. But I said I had a guardian angel, and I figure I did. Yeah. Oh, I had
Well,
some hairy ones.
So you were discharged on December the 5th
Yep.
of 1945.
I was home December the 5th.
When did you leave
Oh, wait a
Europe?
minute. Yeah, I was home, man. I
When-
made it back to Maine.
When did you leave? When did you leave?
December.
When did you leave Europe?
December 5th. When did I leave Europe?
Would have been November, end of November?
I thought you had your phone with me. Yeah.
I think it was
Yeah, he's got
November.
the
'Cause it
shipper
didn't take 7
ship I
days.
went over on.
You came back on the same ship you went over on.
I think so.
How many days? Where did you leave from? Did you leave from Scotland, England, France,
Stateside, from France, we left from Marseille.
Marseille?
Yeah.
that's down in the Caribbean, isn't it?
And right on the tail end of the boot, right on the toe.
No, that's not. No, it's in France.
Marseille, isn't that along the Riviera,
Yeah, I think so.
along the Mediterranean Sea?
Mediterranean, yeah.
So then, did you go right from Marseille? Did you sail back to the U.S. directly?
Right to New Jersey.
Okay.
And we boarded the ship in Marseille, and we got her on and went out, went down, and then we had rough going the rest of the way. For ways anyway, I can't remember how far. But it was rough in hell. The guys, a lot of them, they were all seasick. I was one of the lucky ones. I hit a guy that was from Maine on the bow of the ship, and he said, "What do you think of colored people?" And I said, "I don't bother them. They don't bother me. I get along with them all right." So he says, "Well," he says, "we got a spare bunk in our room if you want it." I said, "You better believe I wanted it." I was on there, got my duffel bag and back up on top of it, down into their room, and nothing flat. Jesus, everybody's seasick down there. Everybody. I didn't make it. I didn't get seasick. So,
How do you account for the fact that you didn't get sick? Why? Why didn't you get sick?
I don't know. Must be the New England blood in us.
How did you get along with the black fellas, and what did you see about discrimination in the?
No, I felt bad about it, really bad about it. Because I had to wait on some of their people when I was on ambulance call. And I remember this little girl had asthma, because I married a woman that had asthma, and she died on me. So that'd be his mother.
Grandmother.
Yeah.
His grandmother. But what about this girl? What?
Oh. Let's see here. Oh, well, that's the one I made my guardian angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's the one I sat with. The major asked me to do that, and I said, okay. I couldn't very well refuse. It was the very first time I met him. And
well, did you see very much racial discrimination in these battle zones?
No, well, there was no demonstrations of any sort, and
when you were treating wounded in the hospital, did you have to give?
I don't even remember ever treating one. Oh, in the hospital.
In the hospital, did you?
Yeah, I saw a lot of discrimination. Atlanta, Georgia was terrible.
Well, I'm talking about overseas. Overseas.
No, not. Well, they had the Red Ball Express, we called it. They hauled the gas. Them buggers, truck drivers.
Were all black?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple of outfits of them, but I didn't happen to work near them.
Well, in your field hospitals, did you ever have to treat any of the black fellas?
They must have. I didn't happen to.
Okay.
That's all.
Right.
Yeah, they had to wait on. What little I had to do with them, there was all nice people to me. You know, they treated me good, and I couldn't ask for any better. I couldn't understand why they couldn't fight for us as well as the next guy.
Now,
that was just like having to wait on the German prisoners. I couldn't see the why, you know.
Right.
I didn't understand that craziness.
When did you meet Leatrice? When did you meet your wife?
Oh, I met her before I went to service. She was schoolmate.
All right.
Yeah, I met her.
When did you marry her?
I married her after the war, 1956. 55,
Well, this says May 18th, 1945.
45, yeah.
So you married her after
Yeah,
you got
yeah,
after you got home.
I was home then,
Okay.
yeah.
And
Yeah, I was home December 5th, I think, or something like that.
okay, and
46.
so you and Leatrice had the two girls,
Yep,
and
two stepdaughters.
and you told me that Leatrice passed away,
Yep.
asthma. How old was she?
I was 50.
In her 50s.
In her 50s.
Yeah,
Did you remarry after that?
yeah. I think we were married 37 years. I think.
Did you get married again?
Yeah, I got married later.
And who was
Not too much later, but I got married off. Yeah. Then she passed.
What was her name?
Her name was
Kay?
Kay. Yeah, Kay.
Kay?
Kay. Yeah, Kay.
And did you-
yeah, she had two. She had a granddaughter. She had two stepdaughters. Yeah.
how long were you and Kay married?
What's that?
How long were you and Kay married?
Oh, we were married about 10 years before she died, I guess.
What did she die from?
Well, she had Alzheimer's for one thing, and
Oh,
I don't know what else. She was in the home. She was, I think, in South Paris, in the home in Paris. Yeah,
Paris, Maine.
she was pretty bad. Yeah.
Did you marry again?
No,
Two was it.
no, I had another woman, but I wasn't married.
All right.
I told her that in the beginning. So
So
no way.
when you came back to the States, did you go back to work in the mills?
I had a job. Yeah, my job is still open. I think in the spinning mill, and that was right next to my house where I lived at that time. And yeah, I worked in the spinning mill, but I was kind of a mechanic, a greaser, and changed speeds on the machines, stuff like that. I worked on the machines all the time.
How long did you work in the mill?
That one not very long. I worked a little while and then wasn't paying very much. And I went in the shoe shop, piecework, and I did a little carpentering on the side. I worked as a millwright carpentering. Did both. And
Where did you work as a millwright?
I was putting paper machines together mostly. I put all of them in Maine. I think I worked in different ones in my time while I was working.
Well, did you have your own company you were doing, or were you working?
No, I was working for Northeast Construction
Okay.
on most of the jobs. I worked for a few other companies. I was doing mostly indicating work for them.
What is that? What's
lining up the job, the shafts and motors and stuff like. Well, I had to line them up. I was dial indicating them back then. That was the only way to go. But I guess today they got lights, what I call it, but different
all
tiles,
the computers and all that
alignment.
stuff.
Yeah.
So what did you retire from? What?
That's where I ended it. Let's see, the last job. I think the last job I worked on was in Hinckley. There was a new machine going, and then I worked on setting the machine up.
Hinckley, Maine.
in Maine that time. I worked on Woodland, all the machines in Maine, Madawaska, Woodland, Bangor, Brewer, I worked some stud mills too in between, stuff like that.
Stud mills were lumber.
Building, making studs. I put the machines together so they could make it.
So how old were you when you retired?
What?
How old were you when you retired? Or what year
I was
did
only 40. I was 45 when I got. No. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I retired after my first wife died, and I had to. I couldn't. I had a grocery store besides.
Okay.
I worked on the side, and I had my own grocery store. So she was running that till she died.
Probably
And then
65.
Well,
That was in the 80s, right?
after she died, did you continue to have the grocery store?
for a short while, I got rid of it as quick as I could.
Did you retire when you were about 65?
Yeah, right around there.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, on this piece of paper, it says you were born in, no,
Skowhegan?
yeah, you were born in December 30th, 1924. So you're,
I'm
You're-
93
you're
years
going
old.
to be 94.
4, yeah. Gonna be.
Well, I see you have hearing aids. Other than that, how is your health?
Ain't got none left. It's pretty well shot.
You're
I
worn.
had dislocated this. I didn't get the operation. The other day I went to get in the truck and just put the weight on that. It's been hurting ever since.
Oh.
that answer your question?
Well, you've
So
done.
I hurt all over now.
You've done pretty well for 94 years.
Yeah, I've been lucky.
Is there anything else about your military experience or your home experiences or work experiences that you think would be interesting for
Oh,
people to hear?
I suppose I could be. I could be telling some stories, but no, I haven't got anything down pat.
Do you have any special stories for me about
I
General Patton or anything?
The what?
About General Patton? Do you have any stories?
No, none I can think of.
Did you ever see Eisenhower?
Yeah, he was on board ship before we sailed out of France, and he was the one who gave us a big spiel.
Gave you a big pep talk?
A big talk the night before. Yeah, we've been on the boat 10 days already. We was on the ship waiting to go in. They wanted medics when they started.
They knew they were going to need a lot of medics.
Yeah, and the only time I stood guard duty was with a billy club. That's the only time, and that was in
France, wasn't it?
in France.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patton come in that day.
He's
The
also
same
part-
day he come in and joined up with us.
You're also part of the fire department,
Huh?
Dexter. You were with the fire department for a while.
Oh, I was in the fire department 21 years,
A volunteer fireman
volunteer,
in Dexter, Maine.
Yep.
And
yeah.
did you have any exciting fires that you were involved in?
We lost a couple of people, I guess.
A couple people. You're talking about firemen or
Yeah.
citizens?
Well, yes, not family, no.
But firemen?
Firemen, yeah. Casualties. We picked a couple of guys fishing, drowned. we got a couple of them out, and that was on Memorial Weekend, I think it was. 20 years ago.
There was a big fire downtown at
Yeah, Main Street. I was in that fire.
What kind of a building was on fire down Main Street?
Well, there was
Department store? Or?
yeah, it was sort of. I mean, they were grocery stores. They sold. Well, one guy sold everything. He sold guns and ammunition,
but the one
fishing
that burned,
equipment,
was that Foster's?
and all of that. Yeah, and the other one was dress clothes, suits and shoes and boots, stuff like that. And I did a lot of work for different people too, carpentry and stuff like that.
Well, when you had the fire in downtown Dexter, were you able to confine the fire to just one building, or did it spread to other buildings?
Well, this particular one, I think it was just the one. Almost got the second one, but we got that one before. At the Main Street, pretty much got wiped out. The Grange Hall, I was in on that fire. That was a big fire. There's 3 or 4 businesses in there. Legion, VFW, no, not the VF, Legion, and grocery stores, and little of everything stores type.
All right. Now, let me see your hat a minute. Let me see your hat. Are any of these ribbons related to your service?
Battle of the Bulge. This was all. Oh yeah, this is all.
This is the Battle of the Bulge?
Yeah, that's the guy. You want that one too?
I tell you what.
Huh?
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. Glad I could do it.
Thank you for your service.
They wanted me earlier on.
He had been called by Stephen Ambrose.
Huh? Oh, yeah.
Got out of the war.
Yeah, Stephen Ambrose called me to interview me right after I got home.
But he turned him down because he had other stuff to do.
Oh, yeah, that's a Croix de Guerre.
Okay, now, I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if you can see that. What are you receiving there in that picture?
Oh, that was a Croix de Guerre.
Given to you by France?
Yeah, I got the write up with it.
He also contributed to a book.
I think the only medal I got of it is home.
A book by Leo Barron called Patton at the Battle of the Bulge.
He's in that book?
Yeah, he was. He contributed some information, and he was.
Oh yeah, you get everything you
at
want
the
on me
opening of the
there.
book
All right.
in that book,
I never thought about
which
that.
I have. Yeah.
He got the ship we went in on, almost.
Well, look, we're out of time on our video machine, and I want to thank you for your service.
Oh, that's quite all right, sir.